There has been an earthquake so powerful it rocked one of the world's mega cities. Talking about Bangkok, Thailand, but the epicenter was hundreds of miles away from there, next door in the country of Myanmar. All right, I want to kill that audio right there so we don't keep hearing that, or at least bring it down a little bit. Because it is so hard to get the information out of that country. Talking about Myanmar, which is where the epicenter was, there are real worries that we might be at the tip of the iceberg in terms of the damage that was done in that country. So keep in mind, let me show you this video one more time. Brian, we can try to keep that audio down a little lower here. But this is the thing about this. These are images, and look at that, of Bangkok, where the water was spilling out of a rooftop building that looked like it was a massive waterfall, and that's hundreds and hundreds of miles away from where we may be seeing the worst of it. We don't know yet because it's just difficult to get information and video out of Myanmar. Thailand, Bangkok, not so much. Democracy, lots of media there, one of the world's true mega cities with 17. You think there are a lot of people living in the Phoenix area with 5 million? Imagine more than triple that. You got 17 million people living in Bangkok, and the last I heard is that they're basically under orders to stay outdoors because of concerns about aftershocks. So to try to get you some of the latest info, it was a 7.7 magnitude quake that hit earlier this morning. The epicenter was near Mandalay in Myanmar, which is their second biggest city. And that earthquake, the 7.7, guess what? It was followed by an aftershock of 6.4. The thing about Myanmar next door is that it's a somewhat mysterious country. One of the world's poorest countries. It's in the middle of a civil war, and all the information coming out of there is very tightly controlled. I don't think it's quite to the level of, say, like a North Korea, but it's just tough to get information out of there. The head of their military government did give a televised speech, we know that, and said that a large number of people had already been confirmed as dead. I believe that number was somewhere in the 140 to 150 range, and hundreds more are injured, and some of those injuries obviously are life-threatening. But we take a look at some of the video. Watch right here. Watch this. That is stunning to see on somebody's dash cam video. A building just come crumbling down. I will point out, you can see the crane there, but there were so many people working in this building. I've seen reports that at least a dozen people were killed coming out of that, but that dozens and dozens more were buried in the rubble, and they were doing all they could in those shocking moments afterward to reach people who might have somehow survived in the rubble. But boy, that is just a nightmare scenario right there when you take a look at what they have been dealing with. So you have both Bangkok, Thailand, and then all the way across hundreds of miles over into Myanmar as well. Let me give you one quote. This was a tourist. This is AP quoting a guy named Fraser Morton from Scotland, who was inside. They have a lot of malls there. They have a lot of high-rises, as you can tell. And so they quoted him, and he said, all of a sudden, the whole building began to move. It wasn't like you just sort of looked up and you saw a little swaying up there in the ceiling. He said it was like the whole building started to move. And he said, I just started walking calmly. But then as the building kept moving more and more, there was screaming, there was panic. People were running the wrong way down the escalators. Syleste, it sounds like this could be, by the end of the weekend, this could be much worse in terms of the overall death toll and the damage.
Well, I think you saw some of those buildings go down. You think of the construction workers, right, on that high rise that may have been working.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of other situations. You saw the pool overflowing. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that
No, we
on
got
the
that. We were
rooftop.
sharing that with the audience a little earlier.
Yeah, right
and
here.
Yeah,
And
crazy.
my goodness. And it really is frightening. What was it? 6.4
That was the
earthquake?
aftershock.
That was the aftershock,
Right? The
yeah.
7.7 that hit.
And I think you have Burma nearby that's kind of on
Right.
watch.
And that's the one that we're really watching now because most of the information has already come in from Thailand, but it could be bad in Myanmar, that's for sure. We are glad that you are joining us for Fox 10 Talks. Back in this country, it's all about the politics. The story about the text group talking about the attack plans on the Houthi rebels and a reporter who mysteriously, there are all kinds of conspiracy theories. How did this guy ever end up on the text thread? So far, supposedly, nobody knows. Was it just a mistake or what? We got into it this morning with Shannon Bream in my weekly chat. Time to visit with Fox News Sunday, Shannon Bream. I have so many questions about Signalgate. There are reports that President Trump is privately frustrated with Mike Waltz. Is his job in danger at all, Shannon? And what's the most plausible explanation you've heard of how in the world this reporter actually got added to that group?
Well, President Trump says the team is sticking together. He has confidence, everyone. That's what he's saying publicly. And so they are all going to stay on the payroll for now. As for the explanation, there are all kinds of whispers, chatters, conspiracy theories here in D.C. Was there a mole inside this group who actually wanted Goldberg to have this information, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic? But the bigger question is, even if he was added accidentally, who in this group had his information in their phone so that he was a contact they were already potentially communicating with? So there are calls for bipartisan investigation, and we'll see where that goes on Capitol Hill.
Well, somewhere in the middle of this text thread, we saw where Waltz responded with emojis like a fist and a flag and a fire. And it does tend to play into Democrats' narratives that some of the people in key positions maybe aren't serious enough for the jobs they had. So here's my question. Can they milk this for months, potentially? Have they found the thing they've been looking for?
Democrats and many of the folks in mainstream media, because Democrats really don't have any leverage here in D.C. They don't have the votes on Capitol Hill. They are having mixed success in the courts. Some of those victories will be short-lived, but when they get a story like this, that I'm sure the president's frustration would be about an unforced error here, it does give them days of the news cycle and maybe more, and it may cost someone eventually their position within the administration. As for those emojis, I think Mike Waltz would, he'd want to point back to his experience as a Green Beret, as somebody who has been an on-the-ground special ops guy who takes this very seriously. But listen, I always question my own use of emojis. I don't know where they're appropriate and where they're not. If Gen X looks weird using too many emojis, should I just lay off? We'll see.
Right, okay. Hey, Shannon, I am listening to a book I bet you probably have read. It's called A Country of Vast Designs. It's about James K. Polk, I think our most underappreciated president. If not for him, there were no guarantees that Texas, across New Mexico and Arizona and California would have been a part of the United States. So let's fast forward to today. We have a president, for the first time in a long time, wants to expand American territory. I know enough about Canada. They're not going to become part of the U.S. But the Panama Canal, we built it, we gave it away. And now this new focus on Greenland. What's your take on where things do stand on those two?
So, by the way, I'm going to have to get that book. It sounds very good. Add it to my list. Well, the vice president and the second lady and Mike Waltz, of all people, and the energy secretary, they're all on this trip to Greenland today. It was going to be a little bit more fleshed out than it is. They're visiting a U.S. military base there. We do have a military presence in Greenland. So the question is, do we go beyond that? Do we try to, in some way, come about with some type of ownership or control of Greenland? Folks on the ground there who oppose this will say the polls show the people do not want that. But others are saying this is a real crisis for Denmark, which is, control and operation of Greenland. So the visit there today, it's going to get a lot of attention. So what are those optics about long term?
Right. Panama, maybe more back burner, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But listen, it's definitely provoking a lot of international conversation and a lot of pushback against the Trump administration. But the president doesn't seem to mind. So I don't know if we're talking about 51st, 52nd, 53rd states now.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Maybe. All right. And there you go, Celeste. It's always fascinating talking with Shannon. By the way,
Yes.
the vice president and the second lady have arrived in Greenland. That happened about an hour and 15 minutes ago.
I always thought it was interesting that Greenland was icy and Iceland is green.
Right.
Can you hear me okay, Ron?
Oh, loud and clear. Celeste, you sound great today.
Oh, really?
What are you seeing in the chat box?
I can't hear myself, so I'm just going to
Oh.
read.
Okay. We'll work on that.
So right now, we have a lot of people chiming on and saying that the chat box is actually different, so we
Yeah.
took it down.
Right.
Yeah, it was like yesterday's chat.
Yeah.
But people are saying happy Friday to everyone.
Nice.
Let's see, Louis Gonzalez is in Pima this morning.
Oh, we love Louie out there in the Gila River Valley.
Yep, and folks, of course, sharing their thoughts and condolences to everyone overseas with that big earthquake.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
yes. Hey, so let's jump right into our poll question. Whew, here we go, over 200 votes. What do you think should happen? Because this controversy, you heard Shannon say, Democrats at least think they've maybe latched onto something that could dent the president's popularity and the overall view of the administration. 8% say Mike Waltz should resign. It was his mistake. Supposedly, he's the one that added the reporter. Only 6% say Pete Hegseth should resign. 25% say forget resignations. People should be fired. And then you've got 60% who say no resignations necessary. It'll fade away. Now, I think all of this, Celeste, is just totally fascinating because even in that first day or two, you might have thought it was going to fade away, but it sure hasn't yet.
No, and I don't think it's going to.
And the way it works in Washington is almost every day, if you're looking for it, there can be a new angle.
Yes.
Depending on if you want to keep the story alive for a long time.
Yeah.
And one of those angles is that a federal judge has now ordered them to not delete any of those text messages, at least from those few days that were surrounding the whole incident.
Do you delete messages, Ron?
On my phone?
Yeah,
No.
I know.
Oh, my gosh.
It's
Who
hard.
even thinks about it?
What are you trying to hide?
Right?
Why are you deleting
the
messages?
messages between me and my sister, which it's her birthday, so
Happy birthday,
Linda.
Hi, Linda. Happy birthday.
Mystery cam time. Here we go. Oh, I like this, Celeste. Now, there's a city you can sink your teeth into. You guys can give us your guesses. We're back in 2 minutes. And we welcome you back. Celeste, this looks like the kind of town that if you and I were looking to start fresh in this business,
Yes.
we could do like a good morning Birmingham or a good morning Des Moines.
Oh, Des Moines, Iowa. With that
Something.
bridge in the background, you think that could be in Iowa?
No, I'm trying to throw you. I have an idea. I may be way off. But I have an idea, and I'm not trying to give it away. So
Okay.
what do you think?
You're like Gary at dinner. He's like, I'm not saying what I'm going to order for dinner because then you're going to order the same thing I'm going to order.
I know.
You're being a Gary right now.
Bear. I had to have a talk with my grandkids the other day because if I open up the freezer and have one scoop of ice cream, all of them want ice cream.
Yes,
I'm like,
I know.
We don't have to be copycats. But anyway, Celeste, that's life at home with 8 grandkids.
Okay, people are saying Milwaukee, Illinois.
All right.
We've got a Mississippi and Arkansas.
Nice.
Linda Montour said Georgia. Tyler Lewis said Milwaukee. He's going to go with Lisa.
Yep.
Sherry Nevada Pup says, oh, well, happy birthday to your sister, Ron. Today is her brother's birthday, although he is celebrating in heaven.
Oh.
And Linda Montour, she said, your sister has a great name. Her name's Linda.
Linda, by the way, as I mentioned, just back from her nice trip to Texas.
Hi, Linda.
Linda's worth following.
And I can hear Ron now in my headphones because I put the volume up.
Yeah. Celeste was complaining for the whole first 15 minutes. I can't hear myself. What's wrong with the technicals in this studio? And it turns out that she didn't have her mic or her headphones plugged in. Where's the plug?
Well,
Let's
the volume.
show everybody the plug.
Okay, so here
comes the plug.
Well, hold on. What's happening?
Oh, no. Well, that's part of the problem, the 14-foot cord.
So, anywho,
Anyway,
I can
what's
hear
your
you. I
guess?
can hear you.
What
So,
is your guess?
I'm going to guess. Can we go back to it real quick? Because
Sure,
I
of
just,
course.
one more time.
Right. Would you like me to use it in a sentence?
May I phone a friend? May I?
Come on.
I'm going to go Ohio.
Okay, and I'm going to go.
Oh, great. Here's
Celeste.
Ron.
Okay. I'm going to go Illinois because I think I might know what that city is, but ready? Here comes the answer.
Well, you recognize the bridge
2,
probably.
3.
Ooh, Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, for goodness sakes, I was way off.
Hold on. Let's see if anybody, if you're in the chat box this morning, let me know if you guessed Tennessee because I'm looking through here. Milwaukee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Ohio.
So that's Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the mighty bridge over the Mississippi. I thought it was Peoria, Illinois, because you got to cross a big river with a big bridge.
Well, I think we should give it to Donna Keeler.
Okay.
Keeler.
Yes.
I don't know if you're new to the chat box, but Donna, welcome. But because Donna said Mississippi, and since that's over the Mississippi River,
good.
I think she gets it on a technicality.
Correct. And the weird thing is, most days we have a couple of Tennessee guesses.
We do.
But today we had no Tennessee.
So,
guesses.
Ron, when you put the greeters on, you know you're serious.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Okay. There's a story that when I first saw it this morning, I was chatting with our EP, our executive producer. I'm going to read it to you on screen. The officer started his search in the area of Allen Clare Drive, which is where Jenny, the missing police dog, was last spotted. Look at when they use the like the night vision or the heat technology, Celeste.
Ooh.
Isn't that cool? This is in Massachusetts. Officer coordinated with Service Dog Project out looking for Jenny already on foot, but this was a huge area. Finally, they were able to provide some clues as to which part of the wooded, swampy area, and there is the happy ending to this whole story. They finally found Jenny. So the officer, is really... It's unusual.
Wow, Jenny's big.
It's unusual to hear about a police dog that goes missing, but I think she was there was an appointment at the vet, and maybe she's one of those dogs who gets a little nervous about going to the veterinarian.
So
I don't know. But, I mean, it took quite a while to locate her because the brush was so thick, and the swamp just made it a difficult situation. And there's the launch of the drone. And look at this is in Amesbury, Massachusetts. You're right on the edge of town. The woods are dark and deep, and I have miles to go before I sleep.
I feel like I'm listening to an audiobook.
Correct.
Remember cassette tapes?
Yes.
Book on tape.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, Ron, we do have CW says, is this on every day? And I said, yes, it is every day at 10 a.m.
Yeah. In fact, CW, you will find the friendliest group of chatters in the chat box. We love chatting back and forth.
You will.
There's no bad language.
No.
If somebody tries that, boom, they're gone. We don't like them. And it's just sort of a friendly, it's like an easy, nice way to get your mid-morning going, cup
Yes.
of coffee or your
Yeah.
Diet Coke or whatever, and settle in with
Yeah,
us.
Ron, when you said that no cursing, our numbers
Yes.
just dropped. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But also, Donna Killer said, yes, she is new to the stream. Welcome, Donna.
Welcome,
She
Donna.
watches our morning show every day. So we
Nice.
so appreciate you, Donna, spending part of your day with
Well,
us.
the whole concept is we want to provide you with more information.
We do.
But this time it's in a little bit more of a casual conversational style,
Mhm.
right? And way more mess ups. Am I correct about that, Celeste?
You are correct. Well, this is a safe space, people.
Oh,
this is
sure.
a safe space.
Okay, here's another safe space. One of our favorite cities, Scottsdale, Arizona. And apparently people who live in this area do not want that new headquarters built. Here is the background. So there's a company called Axon. And last year, the city voted in favor of a new 400,000 square foot building as the new headquarters. And apparently, it was going to be part of a bigger development with hotels and housing, but then there was pushback from the neighbors. You know, you can almost count on that, right? That neighbors are not going to like something new coming in. It led to a deal in the Senate called SB 1543 that could potentially prevent zoning decisions from being referred to the voters. And then the mayor got up, and part of what she said was, I'm talking to my residents today to let you know we need your help. We need to fight this bill with everything we have.
Wow.
So there's controversy, Celeste, and the the company says that they want to stay in Arizona.
You've
been following this story.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing: they've been in Arizona for a really, really long time. Is it the tasers? Did they have? They helped create. This is like when police officers first started using tasers years and years ago.
Right.
They were
As
one
a
of the
non-lethal option.
Absolutely. They were one of the first companies around the nation that actually created the taser and had local police departments use it, and then they started shipping them around the world. So they've been here a long time.
The thing about it is that there are all kinds of cities that would welcome those jobs. I think they're saying that it would be the number of jobs would be huge if they moved their headquarters. And so, you know, take Mesa, for example. They've recently welcomed Facebook, which is called Meta. They've recently welcomed Apple. They have a big facility. Amazon has the largest facility in the world.
Right.
Out in that growth corridor out there near Eastmark.
Chick-fil-A, they're coming out with a new location in Mesa.
And what about Gilbert? I mean, I think there are all kinds of cities that would, with open arms, probably welcome this headquarters that are maybe a little more kind of growth-oriented, and certainly want to welcome the jobs.
Well, you see,
you could go to Surprise. You could go to Peoria. There are all kinds of cities that I'm sure would really love to welcome them.
Well, do you remember what happened with the Coyotes? And now they're in Utah.
Yes.
It's unfortunate. Our hockey team, if you're not in Arizona, they were looking for a new home and they couldn't find one. But there are plenty of cities around the Arizona and around the country that are willing to take these companies in because it means money for the local economy.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I could probably go down the list. I bet you there are 15 other cities that have so much going on with the new restaurants and new housing going in.
The difference, though, I think, is this is unique to Scottsdale.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a bougie place.
It is?
You know,
Oh.
I mean, there's parts of Mesa that are bougie and Phoenix too, but Scottsdale's on the map with folks around the country as being kind of a fancy place. Yeah. So you have these high-end homes that are in the urban interface, which is like the desert area of way north Scottsdale and east.
People move there because they like that lifestyle and they don't want a gigantic development. I totally get that.
They don't like they don't want to live near big freeway. They don't they don't have big roadways. There's no freeway up that way. And so for a lot of people who live in that part of Scottsdale, I think they would not be welcome to wouldn't be welcome to this.
Well, we're going to follow it because they do say they want to stay in Arizona, but that opens it up to a lot of different places.
True.
Have you seen, this is so cool. It's called the Cookie Challenge. It's gone viral. And this is from our very own favorite Brooke at 102.5 KN. What you do is you put the youngster in the middle with 2 cookies. To the right or to the left, one either way is dad with 1 cookie, and mom has none.
Yeah.
And the question becomes, what does the child do? Here we go.
It's awesome.
Daddy goes first. Lift it up. A cookie. What's under yours, Bo?
A cookie. 2 cookies.
2 cookies. Oh, Mommy doesn't have any cookies.
I'll get you some.
Oh, thank you, Biscuit. Good job. Cheers. Yay.
I gave one to you.
That's so nice. Daddy goes first. Lift it up.
Isn't that the
cookie.
sweetest?
Yes, it is. And you know what I said to her afterwards, because we did this segment first on TV?
Yeah.
I said, that just shows you're raising a good-hearted boy.
Yes, so true. And so Bo Baby, his name's Bo.
Right.
She's like, he loves to eat. We chatted about it too in the later hours. And so she thought for sure he was not going to give over one of those extra cookies.
Yeah.
But it goes to show you how much too he loves his mama.
Yeah.
And boy moms, you know this, and girl moms too are very unique in some special ways. I have 3 kids, 1 boy in the middle. He's our middle kid.
Yeah.
But he is so loving. And I remember when he was like Bo Baby's age,
Oh, wow.
they just like to cuddle. And,
Sure.
you know, there's something special about that mom boy, you know,
Yes.
relationship and
Yeah.
connection. He's so sweet. She did a great job with him. He's so sweet.
One last story to get to you, and this is super cool. The
Yes.
question, Celeste, I'm going to ask our audience is, how do you make $4 million from a player's NBA jersey?
Oh, I was okay.
Can I answer that question for
Go
you?
for
here?
it.
Ready? I think we have
OnlyFans.
the. So, why do we have to make it weird? Just make sure the jersey is from Michael Jordan, and it's from his rookie year. It originally sold at auction for $800.
Wow.
Back
Okay.
in the 80s.
All right.
And that dude sold it back in 2009 for $60,000,
Oh.
and now just put it up, and it sold for $4 million.
So-
and that's how you make $4 million from one NBA jersey.
Here's my question. Was it washed? Because if it's not washed after
yes,
his
right.
game, because
Sure.
a lot of players, you know, they do that.
Right.
They don't wash it, superstition type thing.
They take it off.
And by the way, Ron, folks
seconds.
are chiming in. Have a great weekend.
No, you have like 5 seconds.
There's a big martial arts championship in town.
Oh, sweet.
And everybody's talking about it.
Okay, but for now we say goodbye.
We do. See you Monday.